Hi there, guys. So what I am doing tonight here, it's kind of early in the morning. It's about 2:30 in the morning. Andrew has a medical appointment at the Phelan Gillette's tomorrow morning. And so we have to get up early. We're going to be having kind of a long day. Probably won't be home till mid-afternoon. And so I just want to have a nice meal ready to go when we get home. So I am making crock pot Tuscan chicken. And I just wanted you to see how this is made and what the ingredients are and stuff. It's really good, and this is going to cook for about 10 hours. So I'm just going to get started. And so I'm first melting some butter, a stick of butter in the crock pot. And then I am going to put these are crisper potatoes, and I'll show you what those are in a minute, but I'm using about 3 cups of those. And those are the little potatoes that you see at the grocery store that are small. You know, they say they're bite size. They're a little larger than that, but I just wash them really well, and I dice them into 4 sections, and then put them in here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put a half of an onion that's sliced in here. And then I'm going to put, and I'm just using a regular white onion. You can use the red onions or really any kind of onion you want to use, but I'm using the regular white ones today. And then I'm going to use about a cup of sliced into strips. They're the sweet peppers, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I'm just going to pour those into there. And so those are these little peppers, and you kind of see them in you see them in like a little bag at the grocery store, and they're kind of smaller. But you can also use bell peppers if you'd like. Those are good too. And so next I'm going to put chicken in here. This is going to be kind of tricky for me, so I'm going to do this a little differently than I normally do it because I'm filming. But you can use boneless, skinless chicken thighs if you'd like. I have used those a lot, but I also like to use chicken breasts. So that's what I'm going to put in here right now. And they work well. A lot of people don't think that they're as juicy as the chicken thighs, but if you put the right seasonings in them, they're good. And I'll show you what else is going to be going in here in a minute. Get those in there first. And I like to wear gloves when I cook with meats like this and I'm handling meats. I don't think any of us can be too safe anymore. I have a few other dishes in my sink there due to cooking and cutting up things. Okay, so next I am going to put 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup in. And I'm just going to kind of plop those on top. And those, you can use half and half. You could use like a half a cup, a half and half, or you could also use a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm just going to move one of these chicken breasts over here. And so then I'm going to put some spices in. And this is a teaspoon of oregano. Or I'm sorry, take it back. You can use oregano, but I'm using Italian seasoning tonight. And so I'm just sprinkling that all over there. And then a half a cup, you can use, when you make the recipe, see what you think. You can use a half a cup to a cup of Parmesan or Parmesan Romano cheese. I'm using a cup because we like it a little cheesier probably. So that's just going in there. And I do like to use the Kraft And just about any, you know, brand of spices work well. And then I'm using a cup and a half of Members Mark chicken broth. And just going to pour that over. And this helps make it really juicy. And as it starts to cook, everything's going to kind of melt together. And so I have my crock pot set. It's been cooking for a little bit because I wanted it to get kind of warm. You could, if you wanted, you could brown the chicken in a little olive oil first. I've found that it's not necessarily necessary if you're cooking it for, you know, a good 6 to 10 hours. Normally, this would cook for probably about 6 hours, but because we're going to be gone, the length of time we're going to be gone, I'm going to cook it on for 10 hours. And then I'm just going to remove this glove for a minute, so hang tight. I don't want it to get all over my crock pot lid. But I'm just going to cover it and let it cook. And I will do a part 2 when we get back so you can see what this looks like, okay? So, and at that point, I will put up the full recipe on the page. Thanks so much. Good night now.